Hi, this is Randy from Fried Eggs Golf, and welcome. As you can see, I am sitting on the ugly couch, and that can mean only one thing. It's time for Hard Boiled, the weekly segment where you guys write in the product, and I tell you what I think about it. But before I get to that, you guys have been writing in the comment section pretty frequently about how ugly this couch is. And, you know, I get it. It's not the best looking couch ever, but if you sat down on this couch, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that thing is uncomfortable. On this week's episode, as promised, as soon as I got the opportunity to take this product out to the course, I wanted to do a hard-boiled segment on it. And that product is, of course, the new TaylorMade TP5 and TP5X golf balls. Last weekend, the weather was nice enough where Saturday I got to go out and play 9 holes. Sunday, I also got to play 9 holes. And I feel like I got a good grasp on what you can expect from these golf balls when you take them out and play with them yourself. On Saturday, I got to play on a regulation course where I got to hit drives, fairwoods, hybrids, long irons. I got to hit everything, played Saturday, and then on Sunday, Mother's Day, I got to go to Beverly Hills and play golf with my dad and my wife. She was there because it was Mother's Day. And I got to play there, which is strictly a par 3 course. All the holes are under 120 yards, so I feel like I got a good perspective on how these balls perform off of wedges, half shots, chips, putts, and really got I feel like a good understanding, and I want to convey that to you here in a minute. But before I do, just in case you've been living under a rock for the past couple of months, I want to talk to you a little bit about the construction and the technology behind the TaylorMade TP5 golf ball. Now, the TP5 and TP5X golf balls consist of 5 layers. The outer layer being, of course, the urethane cover. Then you kind of have 3 inner mantle there, and then, of course, the core. Now, between the TP5 and TP5X, the main difference is going to be in that core because the TP5 core is blue. In all seriousness, the TP5 is actually constructed to be a little bit softer. The characteristics of the golf ball itself were kind of baffling to me because it didn't really make sense how these two golf balls compared to one another when I'm reading just the literature. I'm not talking about going out and playing with them. I'm talking about just how they describe it themselves. So you have the TP5 golf ball, which they say is long, okay, and then the TP5X being a little bit longer. You have the TP5 being a mid-flight, and the TP5X being a higher ball flight. So they're saying that the TP5X actually launches higher, but it goes farther. Okay, so it must be a spin thing where you're talking about lower spin off the driver with higher launch gives you greater distance. We've been hearing this for years when they talk about driver fittings. Now here's where it kind of starts to switch over. The TP5, even though it launches lower, it actually spins more on your mid irons. And then when you get down to your wedges, they spin similarly because you're really only interacting with your short irons and wedges with the outer part of that golf ball, primarily the cover, so you see similar spin results. And then when putting and chipping, they state that the TP5 is going to feel a little bit softer. I found similar results out on the course, and I think I'd like to share those with you now. When I went out and played 9 holes, I played with the TP5X, mainly because I felt like this golf ball fit the dynamics of my game more. I hit a couple shots with the TP5, but I kept score with the TP5X because this was the one I was most interested in. Now, the thing I noticed right away, and this was the first tee shot that I hit, it was a bombshell. It felt like when I hit the golf ball, and this I'm not like exaggerating, I felt like when I looked up, it was farther away than it should have been. So I felt like it just jumped off the club face, and it felt very hot. Of course, I thought this was just a fluke, and I just happened to hit the sweet spot for once. But when I went up to the next shot and hit my approach into the green, same thing. It just seemed to hop off the face very quickly. It felt solid. It didn't feel like a clicky. It didn't feel too firm. It felt like a good tour ball should feel. Off the tee, the TP5X performed magnificently. I don't know. I mean, I hit the ball decently that day, but this was the best driving day in recent memory that I've had as far as consistency, consistent distance, and accuracy. And another note that I wanted to make sure I shared with you guys, and I noticed this because I wanted to pay attention because a lot of people talked about it. When I hit this ball into a headwind, it made it seem like there was no wind. And when other people said that, I was like, bleh. I'm being serious. When I hit this golf ball into a headwind, I felt like it performed like there was no wind. I don't know if you would notice a night and day difference if you took a blind test and hit these side by side with your driver. I don't know if you would really notice that much. I mean, you're talking maybe a couple hundred RPMs of spin difference, maybe. I don't know because I didn't put them on the launch monitor yet. That's something that I'm now interested in doing because how they performed on the course. But yeah, I don't know if I necessarily noticed too much of a difference. Now I want to talk a little bit about the approach shots into the green because I did have an opportunity to hit some long and mid irons as well as wedges, but I'll get to that when I talk about Sunday's round. But the TP5X, when I hit mid irons, I did notice that there wasn't a lot of spin. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that the ball, it did go high, it came in steep, and when it landed, it tended to hop and stop, and that was pretty much it. And there was some times where I would hit like a full wedge or a full 9 into a headwind, the ball would hit, and it would just kind of stop, and which is nice because there's a lot of times when you hit the ball high into a headwind, or even low for that matter, when the ball hits, especially with these urethane covers, they tend to pull back, and it's hard to control how much spin and how far you're backing the golf ball up. These seem to hit and then just want to just nuzzle around that ball mark. Moving on to Sunday's round, where I played at Beverly Hills and got to hit primarily wedges. This is where I saw the most difference, I think, between these two, even though, once again, it wasn't night and day. So don't think that the TP5X and TP5 are like this. They're side by side. What I felt was that the TP5X off of wedges, it felt, I don't want to say firm, but it felt solid. Like when you hit it, it felt like it jumped and it went far. And like I said, when it hit the green, it kind of just stopped there. Whereas the TP5, it felt softer. It felt like it was spinning more, but I can't really say once again that it was spinning a ton because I don't really have the data to support it, and I didn't really see the ball backing up to tell me that it was spinning that much more, but it felt like it was spinning more. I don't know if that makes sense. Overall, I think they have a winner here. I really do. I think they have a good golf ball, and for me to say that, it just, it kills me. This golf ball, I think it performs as good as anything else out there on the market. I'm intrigued, maybe even a little better. And I want to take this out and I want to play more with them, and I want to see if maybe it's something that I end up putting in the golf bag. That pretty much wraps it up, I feel like. So if you guys want to check them out, I definitely recommend probably buying a sleeve of each and taking one out. But I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with how the golf ball performs in the wind, because that was one of the things that stood out to me. But take them out, hit them yourself, put it in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you think of them if you've already played them. But that's pretty much it. If you want to put down in the comment section below what your suggestions would be for next week's episode, I will gladly read those and oblige. So thank you as always for watching, and until next week, I will see you later.